Hey, Robin Robbins here, founder of TechnologyMarketingToolkit.com, where we specialize in helping VARs, managed service providers, IT service companies get more and better quality customers through strategic marketing. And today, one of the things I'm going to talk to you about is how do you get more referrals? In fact, how do you fuel an endless chain of referrals? And I can't take credit for this term, this endless chain of referrals, because it actually came from, I learned it from Paul Meyer, who was an insurance salesman, very successful insurance salesman, and then later founded the Success Motivation Institute. And his contention was, if you have one client, you never should be in need of another client, because one client should beget another's if you're doing referral marketing strategically, not just hoping and waiting for something to fall in your lap. Okay, so I got a couple tips for you to help you get that endless chain of referrals. And the first thing is, you want to make sure you measure. Not a very sexy thing. I know you want me to give you the email you send out and all this flood of referrals come in. And there are campaigns on the dashboard. If you're a Toolkit Blueprint customer of mine, go up to the dashboard, type in referral in the search, and there are campaigns that'll come up. But here's something that's really key. I know anything measured will improve, and anything measured and reported upon will improve exponentially. So if you want to get more referrals, start measuring how many referrals are coming in every single week. Maybe you're working it, so you got to look at yourself and say, hey, I'm going to have a marketing meeting with myself. I want to see how many leads came in, and now there's leads. I want to know how many referrals I got. Just by putting some awareness or putting some measurement around it, it's going to automatically improve. So number one, measure. Maybe set a goal. Say, I want to make sure we get at least one referral a week. All right, well, with that goal in mind, who's going to own it? And then how are you going to measure it? Okay, you gotta have some place of doing that. Second, have a process. All right, so I think it was Edwards Deming. One of my favorite quotes, Edwards Deming, who is the king of process and automation. In fact, he was given a lot of credit for turning around war-devastated Japan and made Japan the second world economic power in the world after the war. But Edwards Deming, very big on system and process. One of his quotes is, if you can't explain to me what you're doing as a process, you don't know what you're doing. So if I sat down in front of you right now and said, okay, here's a pen and paper, diagram, draw out for me your referral process. So here's some questions I'd ask you. All right, so when you get a referral, what do you do to the referral? How do you follow up with it? How do you communicate with it? What do you do with the person who gave you the referral? How do you recognize it? How do you reward it? Then do you follow up a week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later? Because here's something that should be in your process. Going back to the person who referred you and letting them know what happened with the referral. Did they buy? Did they not buy? People want to know. Did you reward them in some way? Did you send a thank you note? Even a small gift. It doesn't have to be anything big. I get $25 and $50 gift cards from Call Ruby all the time because I mention them just like I did now. They're a phone answering service, and clients sign up and they mention my name and they send me a $25 Visa or a Visa gift card of $25 or $50, depending on, I guess, whoever, what they bought. And it's a nice, always comes with a handwritten note. And I think about that, I'm like, you know what, that makes me want to refer more people to them because they're a good company and they recognize it. Another thing Angie's List does, if you've bought Angie's List, if you don't use it, it's a good service. But I use Angie's List to find people in the area to do painting or landscaping or handiwork or lay tiles or whatever you need done. It's a really, really, really good source. So when you refer somebody to Angie's List, if they mention your name, they send you a big bag of M&Ms. So when you sign up for Angie's List, it'll actually ask you, do you like plain or peanut? And I'll never forget this day. I got this big package in the mail. It was this huge bag of M&Ms, and it was from Angie's List. And it made an instant impression. Again, it doesn't have to be anything big. And the M&Ms, everybody likes it, so you open up and you share, gives you something to talk about. And even to this day, I remember that stupid bag of M&Ms. So it doesn't have to be expensive, but you got to have a process in place for how do you recognize, how do you reward those referrals. And then once you get that referral and you get in front of them, do you give them a special discount? Do you give them special or preferential treatment because they were referred by somebody? Is that in your process? And if they don't close, what do you do? If they do close, what do you do then? What do you do for the person who referred? So all all this has to be in your process. It's got to be documented somewhere, and somebody needs to own it. And if you don't have it on paper and documented or in some sort of process you can kick off, whether it's in your CRM or if you're using your PSA tool like your ConnectWise Autotask or something, you need to have it as a process, and somebody needs to own it. It's really, really important. And number 3, again, I already touched on this, so I'm just going to mention it, is recognize and reward people when they give you referrals. There's nothing worse than somebody giving you a referral, and not only do you not even acknowledge it, but you don't thank them, and then you don't tell them anything about what happened. I mean, I just had this conversation with a client. I was out at one of my events, and a client came up to me, and we were talking about a mutual friend, somebody a vendor we both work with, and this person said to me, you know, I got to tell you, I mean, I love the guy, but I just referred him a huge deal. I mean, a huge deal. It was a $100,000 client. I helped close it. I got on the phone, and you know what? I didn't get anything. I didn't even get a thank you. I didn't, you know, a little bouquet of flowers, nothing. And I could see that this person was really upset by that. So if you're not recognizing and rewarding people for giving you referrals, by the way, listen up, whether they close or not, it's really key. You want to reward the behavior. It doesn't matter if it wasn't qualified. It doesn't matter if they didn't close. If a client gives you a referral, or anybody gives you a referral, recognize it and reward it, okay? Because it's just a nice way of saying thank you. I like handwritten note. I mean, we do everything from Amazon gift cards to flowers to, just depends, because we try and personalize the gift if we can, right? And then once somebody refers to us, we actually give them cash money, or we give them like our Producers Club. If a Producers Club member refers another Producers Club member, another person into the Producers Club, they get 3 months free membership. That's well over $3,000 as a reward. And we've got members that just use that to pay for their membership. They're just constantly bringing people in. So you got to recognize and you got to reward people for referrals. If you just do these 3 things, if you measure, if you put a process in place and make sure you recognize and reward people for referrals, then you're just going to see so much better in results and that endless chain of referrals. And of course, make sure you get to the roadshow. Part of the 12-month marketing plan that I'm giving you on the roadshow is about referral marketing. And at least once a quarter, you want to run a dedicated campaign to fuel referrals. And at the roadshow, we're going to talk about that, just one in many campaigns that I'm going to give you, and strategies for closing more business, for getting better quality customers, for getting that deal flow up so you don't have to take those whiny, unproductive clients that you know you don't want, but you take anyway because you're desperate for sales, and it screws up everything. So make sure you get to the roadshow. This is the last time I'm doing it. I'm not repeating this again next year, and it's free. So get over to itmarketingroadshow.com and join me. Thanks. See you guys.